With a potential location for a huge WWE event and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on and don't forget to like the video. Commenting on his role as the general manager of Smackdown, Nick Aldis said on Busted Open Radio, "I'd be lying if I said it was something that I was anticipating at this point, but at the same time I'd sort of made peace with the idea that it may or may not happen. I think I sort of made peace with that several years ago, and I think that actually that was in many ways a sort of a turning point that helped me embrace the other opportunities that came my way. I think I might have wasted some time with always having one eye on WWE, and eventually I had a sort of epiphany where it was like, look, they're either going to give you an opportunity or they're not. All you can do is be the best version of you that you can and show the world your vision of who you want to be." I heard you guys talking about my intro and this new role. You talked about opportunity, bully, and that's really the baseline of my approach going forward. You can't determine what opportunities come your way. You can only determine what you do with those opportunities, and for anyone who is unfamiliar with my past, my experience, I've been in this business my entire adult life. This is my profession. I took a god-awful Roman gladiator gimmick in 2009, and by 2013 I was the world champion. I took a brand that, if it wasn't dead, it was on life support, and a belt that was not particularly well thought of, and within less than a year headlined the biggest independent show in the history of pro wrestling. So for anyone who thinks that I would be disappointed or unhappy or anything like that with the opportunity to be in the biggest sports entertainment show in the world in this capacity, you're out of your mind. I'm so happy and I can't wait to get stuck in. When you think about what I did with those opportunities, this is the biggest opportunity that I've ever had, and I'm fully ready to execute. Talking about Logan Paul taking on LWO member Rey Mysterio, Zelina Vega said on WWE's The Bump. Who? Just kidding. Listen, I've always said that Logan is an incredible athlete. He's very full of himself. He definitely knows what he can do in the ring, and we've seen it. But you're talking about the legend that is Rey Mysterio. So if we're going to be real about it, I'd be more afraid for Logan than I would for Rey. You forget that he's had opponents like Big Show and Brock Lesnar, and he's gone up against giants. So to go up against Logan Paul, not that it's not going to be a fight, but I think if anything, Logan needs to be trying to get ready for Rey Mysterio. Asked about the working relationship between AEW, AAA, and CMLL, Rocky Romero told Wrestling Observer Live, "The parameters are things like, maybe no AAA talent on the same show as CMLL talent, obviously not in the same matches as well. I think I'm pretty much responsible for at least getting the conversation started and bringing the idea of CMLL working with AEW, and in this case primarily Mystico. I think that over the last couple of weeks, we've heard quite a bit that Tony Khan was a big fan of Mystico and having him was a big deal, so just to be able to open that door for CMLL, AEW, and New Japan to hopefully do some more work together next year, I'm stoked for it. I think it's really, really cool. That's another forbidden door opened." Teasing a new entrance theme for his tag team with Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano said this on Twitch.
When DIY debuted, that song they gave us was just a stock song. It wasn't like it was handpicked for us or anything like that. We were not under contract yet. It just kind of caught on. But me and Tommaso are very excited about the potential of something new. I think it could be so much more. I'm trying not to spoil too much stuff. You just have to tune in on Monday. As much as I can tell you. You have to tune in on Monday. It's going to be a very cool... I think it's got a very cool vibe. I think it's something we both are really pumped about. So we hope you guys dig it too. That's basically what it comes down to. We hope you guys dig it. We dig it. It's something fresh, something new, and I think it's going to be hopefully something that catches on, and years from now you guys will talk about that song instead. Roni is asking if it has lyrics. You have to watch on Monday.
Touching on the differences between her characters in AEW and WWE, CJ Perry told Chris Van Vliet, "Talk fast. It is a different character, for sure. I would like to look at it as a different character because it's a different television show, and also just with everything, you're not going to compare a CW Riverdale show to Grey's Anatomy, Shonda Rhimes' show on ABC. These different networks have a different fan base for a reason. One might have more relationship stuff, one might be more procedural. So that's how it is. I think with wrestling too, AEW is a much more match-driven company, while WWE is more entertainment-driven. Both of them, I believe, should all be storytelling-driven because as human beings, we all connect with stories. It doesn't matter if it's wrestling, TikTok, sitting by the fire, country music, so I think that is important, but if WWE wants the relationships and the fluff and the entertainment, AEW is match-driven, but we still need stories, and I believe that's what is my strength, is storytelling and really thinking about all those small things and connecting with people. Replying to a question regarding his television deal for the NWA, owner of the company Billy Corgan told Cleveland.com, "Yeah, I'm not really able to say anything more than what I've said, which is that we have signed 2 TV deals with a top 20 network. I look forward to announcing those. It's an exciting time." And as you can imagine, when those reports came out, the phone started ringing like crazy, which isn't a bad thing. That means things are going well. Responding to a fan that claimed Dave Meltzer is criticizing AEW for relying on wrestlers over the age of 50, Rob Van Dam said on X, "I believe it's a homoerotic thing where certain men, maybe Dave, prefer to look at young, undressed men, and after a certain age, they're not into it as much. Gotta be, right? What else could it be except a personal visual pleasure? Anyone know? All I know is 52-year-old RVD would beat the out of 25-year-old RVD, but there's a weird desire to see younger men closer to high school, I guess, for some fans to satisfy their flesh-peddling visual status. No joke." Asked which faction was better between the Main Event Mafia in TNA and the Bloodline in WWE, Booker T said on his Hall of Fame podcast, "Main Event Mafia was a better faction by far, but I think the Bloodline has had one of the best runs any faction could ever have, probably the best. But I just say better faction because we had some major players and we weren't a family, we were a faction. Yeah, I agree 100% that Bloodline has been a better story, but I just feel like we never got a chance to really explore how good the Main Event Mafia really could have been in the right situation." While there has been speculation that Roman Reigns and The Rock will face off at some point in WWE, former WCW booker Kevin Sullivan thinks differently, as he said on Tuesdays with the Taskmaster, "If it's the two of them at WrestleMania, what do you do? Because now you're really under a microscope business-wise because the people just bought you were saying you've got The Rock and you're going to beat him. He just did a movie that did $360 million worldwide. You're going to beat him? Can we beat Roman? I don't think that match ever takes place." Revealing the potential location for SummerSlam next year, Wrestling Inc. wrote that WWE SummerSlam has become a show on the level of WrestleMania, with the past few years taking place in NFL stadiums. This year's edition took place in Detroit, and last year's took place in Nashville. According to a new report, 2024's biggest party of the summer is eyeing another big stadium, or at the very least a city with 2 big stadiums. Fightful Select is reporting that Cleveland, Ohio is being considered as a front frontrunner for the home of 2024 SummerSlam, though it is not clear if the company is bringing the event to Cleveland Browns Stadium or Progressive Field, home of the Cleveland Guardians, though the report mentions representatives from the Browns. Fightful sources say that the event is likely for the city, but Wrestling Inc. reached out to WWE for comment and was told nothing is finalized and several cities are under consideration. Wrestling Inc. has confirmed with outside sources that Cleveland is indeed in the conversation for the event. Cleveland, Ohio is not only famously the home of former WWE champion The Miz, but also WWE superstar and YouTuber Logan Paul, who grew up in Westlake, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland. It's entirely possible Paul could be WWE United States champion by next year's SummerSlam, should he defeat Rey Mysterio on November 4th in Saudi Arabia. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.